From the basement of La Penta, this is WICR.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sports Vault. I'm your host with the most, Jersey Joe Artino, and it is a very good time to be on campus because it is about as quiet as it will ever be. It is spring break, everyone is away, but I am not. Of course, it's the NCAA tournament. There are times where you just don't want to take off. When it's the Super Bowl week, when it's NCAA tournament time, when it's UEFA Champions League time. This is not the kind of time to take off, so very happy to come in. I had to smash in a couple windows to get into the studio, but that's in the past now, and it is time to go over the bracket. Just going to give you all the help you need, going over all the regions, giving you my picks. Here's the thing, and I think it's kind of good because I don't watch as much college basketball as I would with college football or a lot of the other sports, but I feel like I watch enough to get a good taste of everybody without overthinking it. And I think a lot of times when you watch something so much, you tend to overthink it more than a lot of people do. And Colin Cowherd was making this point this morning. I think it's really true. I think the more you pay attention to something, sometimes you overthink it more because the more you know it so much, you know every little minute detail about every little team that you just tend to overthink things. I think with college basketball, I have enough of a taste of everybody to not overthink it and just kind of understand and get a good feel for it. So, of course, without any further ado, let's get right into it and start off with the Midwest region. Now, the first matchup is going to be Kentucky and Hampton. Hampton, of course, really taking it to Manhattan last night. I'm sure a lot of Iona fans were happy about that one. But, let's be honest, Hampton's going to lose by 30 or 40 to Kentucky, so let's not waste any time there. Let's go on to the next one, Cincinnati and Purdue. And this is a tough, close one. Now, I was listening to Colin Cowherd this morning. He had a bunch of experts on. A lot of them do like Purdue in this game. I think this is a very much of a coin flip game right here, but I think Purdue can shoot. Cincinnati's not a great shooting team. They are good defensively, but I think at this point, this game is about as big a coin flip as you can get. I'll take the team that can shoot going with Purdue. I love this next matchup, West Virginia and Buffalo. Buffalo, the 12th seed against a 5 seed West Virginia, and I like Buffalo here. Colin Cowherd also likes Buffalo here, but I think a lot of people are going on the Buffalo train, and rightfully so. Bobby Hurley's done a really good job with this program, and he's kind of been in the media not just for his team making their first tournament bid in NCAA in their history, but also in the I Hate Christian Laettner documentary. Bobby Hurley's name very much in the forefront right now, and I like his team a lot. They are a very fast, a high-scoring, up-tempo team. They can shoot, they can score. They've got a very good team, Buffalo, and I don't think West Virginia, they just haven't done anything for me this year. They haven't done anything for me in the tournament the last couple years. I'm not crazy about the way that they're coached. For West Virginia doesn't do much for me. Buffalo is riding high. This is the first time their school's ever been here, and they've got a very potent offense. They're fast. Speed is very important, and I think if they play at the tempo that they want to, and they will, Bobby Hurley's a very good coach, they're going to give West Virginia a ton of problems. I have them pulling off the upset. I have them, the 12th seed Buffalo, beating West Virginia. And I think you're seeing right now, a lot of people are actually going around to that. A lot of people like Buffalo. The next one, you have Maryland and Valparaiso. Again, this one, not that big of an upset. Maryland is a much better team. They're a very good basketball team. They have a lot of ways they can beat you. I do like Maryland big here, and I have them going on to the next. Then we have Butler and Texas, and this is one that a lot of people have been up and down. A lot of people on Texas, a lot of people didn't even think was going to make the tournament. I certainly wouldn't have had a problem if they did, and I watched them a lot this year, and I never saw them in one time and really felt like there was anything to really grab your attention about. There was never anything that really sold me on Texas, and I'm certainly not sold here. I am going with Butler. Butler's strength of schedule is pretty impressive this year. Texas, the one thing on them is I know they took a lot of good teams into the last couple minutes, but they can never finish out games. There's a reason they couldn't finish out games. Their record against good teams is not good. I don't think Texas is great. Now, Colin Cowherd this morning said he doesn't think they're well coached, and I don't know if I would say that. I don't know enough about, and I haven't followed their coaching as closely, but I don't like Texas here. There just hasn't been anything really substantial to grasp about them this season. I like Butler to win that one. Then you go to Notre Dame, and I love Notre Dame. Notre Dame, they showed you in the ACC tournament that they are a team that can really play against Northeastern. I mean, they can shoot. They really have great shooting, and that's always important in this tournament is guys who can spread the floor. Ball movement is huge, and knocking down threes is always going to help you and bail you out. The only thing for Notre Dame is they don't have great size, but that's not going to come to a problem until they face Kentucky in this region. I love the way that they can score. I like the way that they make adjustments. The one thing I like about Notre Dame is they don't have to play one way to beat you. They'll adjust. They'll adjust their style to however they have to play you. And a lot of teams we see in this tournament really have their identity. They have to play that way, and you know that's how they're going to play. Notre Dame doesn't really do that. Notre Dame is able to adjust and play the way that best suits that team. And I think that's going to help them big time. And they've really gotten better defensively as the year has gone on. Notre Dame a very good team. I like them moving on here. Then you have Wichita and you have Indiana. Again, Indiana, one of those bubble teams where it was questionable if they would even get in. It's a historic program, so again, not a problem with them getting in. Temple, I would have liked to see get in, but Indiana, I don't have a problem with that. I like Wichita State to beat Indiana. Not a lot to grab on about Indiana. I mean, they don't really do one definitive thing very well, and I just think Wichita State, they have shown you they've got a good program there. Not a big fan of Indiana. Then Kansas against New Mexico State. Now, this is one of the weakest Kansas teams I've watched in a while. I'm not a big fan of this Kansas team at all. There's not a ton of guys to really grasp your hands on. I mean, I like Perry Ellis. He's been there for a long time. His health is in question. I think the main reason they're as good as they are is because of how well coached they are. I mean, I really do think that that's half the battle right there. They are very well coached. They've been a relevant program forever. That's the big thing for them, and I just don't think they're going too far, but they will win this game. Then you go on to the round of 32. I have Kentucky and Purdue. Kentucky moving on from that one. I mean, let's be honest. Kentucky, we all are understanding. Everybody and their grandmother is picking Kentucky to win this whole thing. Kentucky, and I am as well. I mean, we'll get to the end. Well, I'll tell you more about it why, but I think Kentucky, Purdue is not a problem. Buffalo and Maryland, unfortunately for Bobby Hurley, it ends after their first win. Maryland is too tough. Maryland does a lot of good things well. Again, ball movement is critical. They're just I think they've played a lot more tough opponents, but Buffalo will give them a run. Butler and Notre Dame, again, I love Notre Dame. They do a lot of things very well offensively. They can shoot the three, lights out in that department. They can adjust the way that they want to play to fit and attack you. Notre Dame beats Butler, and then Kansas beats Wichita. Again, not a big fan of Kansas. This isn't going to be a cakewalk. None of their games will, but I do think they will at least get onto the Sweet 16 and play Notre Dame. So now we go to the Sweet 16 for the Midwest region. You have Kentucky against Maryland. Again, Maryland is very good. Maryland is a good program. I liked what I saw from them this year. But again, it is Kentucky. There's nobody in the country who's better in the last 5 minutes of a game than Kentucky. Kentucky does so many things well. They're the second, if they were in the NBA, they would be the second highest collective size team in the league. The only professional basketball team who has better collective size than Kentucky does is the Trailblazers. You're not going to get a rebound against them in the last 5 minutes of a game. You're not going to get an offensive one. Maryland, the task is just too tough. Kentucky moving on to the Elite Eight. But then this is the that region right now. Then I do have Notre Dame and Kansas. Now, I think, like I said before, I'm not totally on the Kansas bandwagon. Their most important players' health is in the air right now. It's not it's definitely one of the weaker Kansas teams in the last couple of years. I like Notre Dame to beat Kansas and them to play Kentucky in the Elite Eight. There, I really do. I mean, Notre Dame and Kentucky are going to give you a really good match. It's going to be fun to watch, but the only problem why Notre Dame can't get past that point is it's Kentucky. Notre Dame doesn't have size. Kentucky has a team of guys who are just built for this kind of game. I mean, they're just going to dominate the offensive glass, dominate the defensive boards. There's not going to be, The one kryptonite that you hear, and there's a ton of theories about how you beat Kentucky. Nobody really has one definitive way to do it. But I think if you do, you've got to make threes. You've got to make a lot of threes. And that's something Notre Dame can do. But again, size is going to be the difference in this one, and I do have Kentucky moving on to the Final Four from the Midwest region, but I think Notre Dame is going to make it a very interesting ride. It's going to be fun to watch how they fare in this one, but again, in that Elite Eight, I do have Notre Dame taking on Kentucky and Kentucky winning. That is it for the Midwest. Take a very quick break, then shift to the West region, go over that. Again, we're going to hit all of them, and then at the end, go over the Final Four, tell you why. But that is it for the Midwest. Going to reshift and be right back with the West. So stay with us.